All right, Dylan, before we watch Better Luck Tomorrow, the first film in the Fast and Furious universe, what are your expectations going in?
I'm expecting a lot of cars. I'm expecting it to be really cringy and cheesy and super goofy and a lot of family. Yeah.
Okay, Dylan, you just watched Better Luck Tomorrow, the first film of the Fast and Furious universe. What is your review?
So, it's kind of a complicated review because I was expecting cars right out of the gate. Did I get cars? No. I got one red Mustang looking car. I'm not really sure. I'm not too knowledgeable with cars. And then I got it's like a green Audi right at the end. There was a BMW motorcycle in there. But that was about it. The rest were minivans and regular four-door sedans. So, I didn't get a whole lot of cars. I was wondering where the heck are all the cars. Instead, I got this guy named Ben. I got this guy named Derek. I got another guy named Vince, right?
Virgil.
Another guy named Virgil. And another guy named Han. And they didn't like this guy named Steve. You see, the whole situation with Steve was complicated because Ben really liked Steve's girlfriend, Stephanie. And it just turned into a whole drama. By the end of the movie, everything turned on its tables. Someone died. I won't say who because I don't want to spoil it for any of you that haven't seen the movies. But yeah, kind of subverted all my expectations. It was kind of a movie about high school kids just bored with life, and they were super smart, and they just found themselves in a lot of trouble, just kind of running their own gang. And yeah, completely different than I expected. I really liked it. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. Expectations going forward, I have no freaking idea. Like, I'm sure the next movie I'll get cars. But yeah, this was just a cool movie about Asian representation and kind of showed like the Asian community in what I think rural California. They don't really say, but yeah, I liked it.
Okay, Dylan, we just watched the second film in the Fast and Furious universe, The Fast and the Furious. What are your thoughts?
I've been thinking a lot more about family ever since watching that movie, and cars and sex and police officers. It's really quite an inspiring film. You have this main character, he's an undercover cop, and he's trying to get into the racing game. He's trying to get in with those underground street racers. And honestly, my impressions of the Fast and Furious franchise, outside of watching it, before I ever even watched the movies, I was like, this series looks absolutely stupid, terrible. I didn't like Vin Diesel that much, but after watching it, I think it's pretty good. It reminds me of my days playing Need for Speed Underground as a kid. Makes me want to buy Need for Speed Underground and start playing it on this old CRT TV with my old PlayStation. I already got Gran Turismo 3. This is the reason why I actually decided that I was actually interested in watching Fast and Furious, because I was like, these racing games are kind of fun. But it's cool to see all those cool cars, and honestly, I thought the film was really good, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm curious to see what the second movie has in store.
Okay, Dylan, you just watched the first special of the Fast and Furious universe, the Turbocharged Prelude, and what are your thoughts?
So, kind of going back to the first movie, something I wanted to mention in my previous little dialogue that we had together, I guess monologue. It was kind of interesting when Vin Diesel at the very end of the film was going like 140 miles per hour, and he just ran straight into the semi-truck, and he just blasted like 30 feet into the air, car flips and tumbles, and yeah, head-on collision at 140 miles per hour, flies through the air, and he just gets out, and he's totally fine. Thought that was an interesting thing. Didn't mention in my last review. The Turbocharged Prelude was kind of interesting because there's no words. It's just kind of like a really jamming, vibing soundtrack, and just kind of was like a silent story. of our character Brian. Right? His name's Brian?
Correct.
Yeah, Brian, the whole thing with Brian is he used to be a police officer, but now he's on the run because he let Vin Diesel go. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see his journey over to Miami. And, you know, again, super vibing soundtrack, but we'll see where it goes from here. Looks like he's on the run.
Okay, Dylan, you just watched the third film in the Fast and Furious franchise, Too Fast, Too Furious. What are your thoughts?
So, my thoughts with the third film called Too Fast, Too Furious. It was pretty fast and it was pretty furious. Mainly because of our boy Tyrese. Tyrese was an awesome character. That man, he was hungry all the time. He was just picking up food wherever he could find it, stealing stuff out of people's pockets. Thought he was an awesome character. Again, we got our boy Brian. Remember the last little short, the prelude that we had? Found out he was on the run, and this dude was on the run. He was hustling, he was making money, doing drag races, and yeah, you got to meet Ludacris. That was pretty cool. Ludacris showed up. Apparently he wrote a song for the movie. Yeah, it was cool. They ended up working for some dude that looked like he was out of the Italian mafia, but I don't think he was mafia. He just had that kind of persona. It's kind of like The Departed, where they're kind of like police agents kind of infiltrating this mob. And yeah, it was just all about how they're going to take down this guy. The story wasn't all that complicated. It's a lot of cars, and it's just a lot of just huge jumps and just ramping things up from the previous movie, and ended on a huge climactic note where they jumped like 3,000 feet across the ocean onto this boat, crash land on this dude's yacht, and end up finally busting him, and they get to walk away with clean records, no longer involved with the police, and everything's good. I thought it was a great film. We didn't get any Vin Diesel. He's off somewhere in Mexico. And yeah, I thought it was a good film. I enjoyed it, and I think the lesson I'm taking with these movies is like, just enjoy them. Don't take it too seriously. They're just fun movies, and you don't need to think too hard about it. And it's also fun just to see like these little tidbits of like the 90s, early 2000s, which for me was like my childhood, like a way of living that I haven't really necessarily seen in a long time. So yeah, I enjoy these movies.
Okay, Dylan, you just watched the second special in the Fast and Furious universe, Los Bandoleros. What were your thoughts?
Sí, señor. Los Bandoleros. Está muy bien. That's about the limit of my Spanish. But basically, we've got Vin Diesel, our main character of the series. Very much cares about family. Has started a new family in the Dominican Republic. He's not in Mexico for some reason. We don't know how the hell he got over to the freaking Dominican Republic, but he's there. And he's having a good time. He's teaching his fellow Dominicans to pray at the table, and he's got a little gang hanging out around him. And yeah, I don't really know what he's doing there. Our boy Han from back in freaking Better Luck Tomorrow shows up, and he's just like, hey, I'm here, man. I'm at the airport. I'm going to come. I'm going to help him break this dude out of prison. Breaking out of prison in the Dominican Republic is apparently just cutting a chain link fence, and that's about it. No people really guard anything. There's no stone walls. Anyway, dude gets out of prison immediately. They show up to some kitchen, and they just start munching and grabbing food, and they got to meet up with this dude Elvis, and apparently they got to get a run for some fuel. Not a whole lot of story there going on. A lot of Vin Diesel just making out on a beach and, you know, hanging out in a freaking kayak with his lady. His lady shows up from the first movie. Don't know how the hell she found him or how she got there too. She's totally cool with him making out with other women, I guess. So, yeah, it's just kind of Dominican Republic Vin Diesel right now. I'm assuming he's going to get back to the States and meet up with Brian again for this, you know, Fast and Furious 4 coming up. But it is yet to be seen.
Okay, Dylan, we just watched the fourth film in the Fast and Furious universe, Fast and Furious. What are your thoughts?
Well, It's not very mathematical, if I must say. But it is a good film. Notoriously, I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. It's apparently not the highest rated. It wasn't as good as the first two, I'm not gonna lie, but it was still a good time. Basically, we got our main boy. What's his real life name? Brian, but his real life name, Paul Walker. Basically we have Paul Walker getting back with Vin Diesel. Paul Walker, this is like 5 years in the future. He's an FBI agent now. He decided to go back to the police, and then Vin Diesel has just been on the run, and his lady, Letty, ends up dying at the very beginning of the movie. That's a big spoiler. I should have... Spoiler. Yeah, she dies in the beginning, and Vin Diesel's all sad. He comes back to the States to go, like, watch her funeral from a distance, and that's kind of where we got Brian, Paul Walker, and Vin Diesel. I don't even know Vin Diesel's real name in the show because he's just Vin Diesel to me. I think it's Dominic Toretto, right?
Correct.
So I do know his name. But yeah, he's watching her funeral from a distance, and you got Brian off being an FBI guy trying to wait to catch Vin Diesel, and they end up later in the movie working underground together, kind of just interlinking, and Vin Diesel just starts going hog wild, like just holding a whole engine up with like one hand. I don't know if it's an engine or transmission, but like dude's on a mission to avenge Letty, and they like drive through these like secret tunnels in Mexico, and they're like working with the cartel and all this crazy stuff. It's a fun movie. It's fast. It's furious. Is it as fast and furious as the previous two movies? Maybe in some ways, but I'm excited to see where it goes, and see some more Vin Diesel, a little bit of that narcissism, conceitedness, but it's a good kind of conceitedness. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, Dylan, you just watched Fast 5, the 5th film in the Fast and Furious universe. What are your thoughts?
Nice to see you there. Welcome to my abode, where we will talk about my thoughts. Well, these are my thoughts. Fast and Furious 5, it's a good movie. Very action-packed. I will say, this movie takes the action up to an unbelievable notch. Okay? You can't just fall 300 feet down into a lake and not die. Okay? Because when you're traveling at that velocity and that speed and you hit that water's like hitting cement. Okay? The surface tension in the water is too great to handle the impact and the loading that you're putting on it at such a tremendous speed. So yeah, those are my thoughts. But on a serious note, the action is fun. It is fun, and it's ridiculous. It's over the top. It doesn't make any sense. People survive after getting crushed underneath a semi-truck, and it's fine. Dominic Toretto just got busted out of freaking the prison bus, and they go on the run, and yeah, this movie's just super jam-packed. Most of it's in Brazil, and they decide that they're going to take out like the Brazilian gangsters and steal all their money, and the idea is they're all going to walk away with like $10 million each. You get a big comeback with pretty much everyone across the Fast and Furious franchise that's significant. We have Han, we have our boy Tyrese. Well, I call him Tyrese. His real name's Roman in the movie. We got Gal Gadot back. Don't know her in character name. We get a handful of cool people showing back up for kind of this big old heist. It's an Avengers, that kind of moment. It's cool. It's fun. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson shows up for the first time. And him and Vin Diesel is just like a narcissism fest. It's crazy. Vin Diesel kind of gave me my favorite line of the series so far, which is, or sorry, not Vin Diesel, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. See, they're like the same character. Narcissism fest. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gives me my favorite line, which is, "Give me the damn veggies," when he's asking for information from one of his henchmen. So, yeah, it's fun. It kind of culminates into this big old, like, final scene where Dwayne The Rock Johnson was this like police officer, and now he's like, actually, I'm gonna help you guys out, steal from these Brazilian mafia folks or whatever, and they take this huge vault, break it out of the Brazilian police station, and just cruise it around town, and somehow do this big switch up and trick the main bad guy. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I enjoy it. Them dragging this vault around the streets was a cool piece of action for a film. I'm sure it would have been incredible to see in theaters. I was closed-minded. I didn't see it in theaters, but it's a fun film. I'm excited to see where it goes. I know up next we have 6, and then finally we can watch 3, which is what I've been waiting for. That's kind of the main reason I wanted to watch Fast and Furious in the first place, but Cody convinced me to watch chronologically. But here we are. We made it like, 5 films in now? Literally. So that's where we're at. So I will see you soon.
Okay, Dylan, we just watched Fast and Furious 6, the 6th film in the Fast and Furious universe. What are your thoughts?
Well, before I talk about Fast and Furious 6, I want to show you a neat trick. So on your 3DS, if you press the A button and hold start on a DS game, not a 3DS game, it'll put it into a new resolution mode. You can see these black borders, and it'll put it to its native resolution so you can play the game as it would be on a DS, so it doesn't stretch the screen and make it all like ugly. Anyway, that's just a little piece of information. If you're playing Pokemon on your 3DS, but it's a DS game, you can just improve the resolution a little bit. Yeah. Anyways, that's my little tip for the day. Now back to Fast and Furious 6. So, cool thing about it is Fast and Furious 5 is already crazy. Walls to the wall, through the roof. They're driving this vault through the streets of Brazil. But now, we got tanks. Now, we got like 300-mile long runways. But it was a cool movie. We found out Letty's still alive. And we saw some of the like most ridiculous action we've ever seen in the series. We had freaking Vin Diesel, our boy Dominic Toretto, jumping. He like launched himself out of his car while Letty was also launched to like catch each other in the middle of this giant like ocean freeway overpass that had a gap in between and like a 300-foot drop or something. He catches her midair, crashes back into the other side, landing on a car, and of course Vin Diesel just gets up and walks away because that guy can take anything. The action was ridiculous. They brought the team together from Fast and Furious 5 back. And then, yeah, there's tanks and this, like, super long runway. Gal Gadot, I don't know why I can't remember the characters, like, in movie names, but Gal Gadot apparently died. She just kind of did this, like, Tomb Raider jump, like, shoot her guns and killed this guy off into the distance, but yeah, we had a lot of action. Han during the movie was talking, and he was like talking a lot about how like he's gonna go back to Tokyo someday. He's got to go back to Tokyo. We're about to watch Tokyo Drift. We're finally going back to Tokyo. That's why I started this series. I just wanted to see Tokyo Drift. That was the only movie I wanted to see. Now we're finally here. And I couldn't be more happy. That's Fast and Furious 6.
Dylan, you just watched The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, the 7th film in the Fast and Furious universe.
I did.
The one you're most excited for. What are your thoughts?
I don't know most of the characters' like names in universe. I just kind of know them as Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Luke Evans, freaking Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Tyrese, man. I don't know their real names in the shows. They're just kind of too iconic as actors. But we watched the movie. I was finally waiting for it, and it lived up to all its hype. It is in my top 3 of the series for sure. I think I like it maybe better than 2. I don't know if I don't like it better than Better Luck Tomorrow. But it is probably the top of like the mainline Fast and Furious movies that we've seen. I like Vin Diesel pops in at the very end, which is kind of annoying because he's got to be everywhere. And but that guy is totally like anti-Japanese, like too much narcissism. But it is like primarily a movie that just totally takes off from the rest of the franchise. It's its own unique story. We got our own unique main character. Kind of an interesting introduction to how he gets in that world. He gets entangled with the Yakuza. I thought it was fun. It also changes it from just like speed racing into drifting. So instead of drag, just like 10-second cars and like 10-second races that they're going for, it's like high skill, high precision, like drifting around corners in the mountains. And I feel like that is super representative of the Japanese culture, kind of just like taking that driving up like an extra notch. And the cars were pretty cool. We got the Supras, we got the freaking Han's orange car. That's the Supra. It's just super sick. And a lot of cool drifting scenes, a lot of unique cars, totally different from the typical like American muscle that we see in pretty much every other Fast and Furious franchise movie. It was cool. It's just nice to mix things up. I think it's my favorite of the mainline Fast and Furious.
And would you like to add your thoughts on seeing Virgil and Han's death?
And Virgil! Okay, damn, dude. We got Virgil back. He didn't do anything except just kind of hang out in the background and get yelled at. And now he has a shag. So, we got Virgil. Han was super sick. And he just, like, dies out of nowhere. I don't think he's dead. I think him and Giselle are still alive, and they're going to show up in Fast and Furious 9 or something, because this is like Dragon Ball Z here, okay? If they can bring Letty back, they're going to bring back Han, they're going to bring back Giselle, okay? Don't fight me on it. Jason Statham.
Dominic Toretto. You don't know me. You're about to.
Who's this son of a bitch?
All right, Dylan, you just watched the Fast and the Furious 6 end credit scene. So you just watched the Fast and Furious 6 end credit scene and the first look at Fast and Furious 7. What are your thoughts?
Well, it was pretty good. I thought that Han was going to live. I thought it was going to show that Han got hit by Giselle because Giselle was trying to get him out of the game, and she's going to tug him out of that car and like fake his death or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But no, I don't like that guy. We also took a look at the first look for Fast and Furious 7, and I believe it's just F7. And yeah, we kind of got to see like a last glimpse of Paul Walker. There's kind of some irony there because in that scene he talks about how he's like, I don't want to do any more funerals. And then Paul Walker's like, well, just one more. And then he died a month later. Sad stuff. Anyway, I'm excited to see what we get next.
Thing about street fights, the street always wins.
Hey, thought you could leave without saying goodbye.
I used to say I live my life a quarter mile at a time. And I think that's why we were brothers. Because you did too.
Welcome to my interview for Fast and Furious 7, just called Furious 7. Yeah, what a ride. Literally. Like a ride in Dubai, a ride in LA, a a ride somewhere else. I don't know before that. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, and it's hard to just put all my thoughts at you right now. A lot of big set pieces in this film. Really, really big set pieces. They go a lot of cool, interesting places. You have like that Uncharted 2 moment where he's like running up the side of a bus that's falling off a cliff. Oh yeah, Azerbaijan. That's the other one. Jason Statham teleports everywhere, and he's just like this nonstop Terminator that keeps showing up and just like can get punched and like take on head-on collisions and just like fucking get beat up with bombs and stuff, and he's just fine. The Illuminati shows up in this movie, and they're just like helping out Vin Diesel, and they're just like Vin Diesel's bitch. This movie definitely takes it up a notch, especially in the ridiculousness aspect. Cranks that all the way up to 11. Just full, no nonstop, just crazy ridiculousness. It is Paul Walker's last movie, and I feel like they did a really good job at the very end of the movie with his send-off, just kind of showcasing, like, hey, he kind of died unexpectedly on us, but, like, his now, like, future role is just, like, being there with his family, and I think that's a good way to kind of, not necessarily write his character off, but place his character into a different spot. And I think it's kind of fortunate how previous movies kind of like lined him up with having kids and kind of wanting to stay out of it, blah, blah, blah. And then I feel like it was just kind of a natural ending to his character, despite the unexpected and unnatural timing of his death. I think done super well. Thought it was a good movie. This skyscraper scene, just like jumping between two fucking skyscrapers in Dubai in that Lycan hyper whatever car. There's like 7 in the world, and found out they made an 8th one just for this movie. Yeah, that scene was just absolutely bonkers, absolutely nuts. Great film. Really have no idea where the series goes on from here, because it feels like they lost a huge part of their franchise, and I don't know. Can they keep up with it? I told myself initially I was going to watch to the 3rd movie, but now we're at the 7th movie, and we're going to go all the way to 10. But I really, really wonder, with 4 movies left, what they're going to do. Really curious to see where they take it. Yeah.
And then, what did you think about seeing Sean again?
And Sean, my boy Sean! The best character in the Fast and Furious franchise, and they give him, like, literally 30 seconds of talking with Vin Diesel, and that's it. I want my boy Sean back. I want my boy Han back, and I know that guy's not dead. So they better bring back Sean and Han and Virgil and Ben and Derek from freaking Better Luck Tomorrow. That's all I want from the future of this franchise. That's literally all I want. Bring them back.
All right, Dylan, after your Tokyo trip, you just watched the 9th film in the Fast and Furious universe, The Fate of the Furious. What are your thoughts?
I thought the movie was good. I think, honestly, it had better plot points than a lot of other Fast and the Furious movies. We've got to see Elena again, find out Dom has a kid, and he's just kind of held hostage by Charlize Theron, also known as Chimera or something like that. I can't remember her name. Cypher. But yeah, you just kind of see like a Dom kind of like running off, being all quiet and playing all mysterious and stuff. And yeah, you just kind of see him just like slowly like finally warm up, and you finally find out that he's being held hostage because his kid, blah, blah, blah. Jason Statham turns good. Turns out he's a baby-loving man. I think there's a movie called The Pacifier with Jason Statham in it, and that's a pretty good movie. But yeah, I thought it was overall a great film. Cool submarine moments, cold Russia moments, a lot of crazy car jumps and cool things in that aspect. But yeah, overall I thought it was a great film. It does feel weird not to have Brian in it anymore, Paul Walker, and it just kind of feels like we haven't really had the team truly back together. But I thought it was just a good film, still held up. I probably like it better than some other films in the Fast and Furious franchise. Thought it was good. I don't know. It's pretty much the end of my review.
All right, Dylan, you just watched the 10th film in the Fast and Furious universe, Hobbs and Shaw. What are your thoughts?
The island will provide, brother. Anyways, that's Dwayne The Rock Johnson's face in the movie because he just had to do the haka type deal in the movie. Talk about the island of Samoa providing for their inevitable crash with Idris Elba and a lot of other folks, but I like to call him G.I. Jamal. But yeah, it was the worst movie in the Fast and Furious franchise in my opinion, but still enjoyable. I think there's a fun dynamic going there between Jason Statham and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, also known as Luke Hobbs and something Shaw. Don't remember his first name, but I know it's Shaw. Overall, I thought it was a fun movie. Definitely had the weakest storyline, felt pretty generic. There wasn't necessarily a whole lot going on, not a whole lot of depth in character development that we saw in Fast and Furious 8, which was kind of surprising to me from Fast and Furious 8 to see kind of some character development with Vin Diesel, which I would have never thought we would got because that guy is the same character and acts the same way in every freaking scene. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of character development, but what we did get was just some stupid fun, a crazy motorcycle that twists and spins and it's basically impossible to fall off of or screw up on. And yeah, it was a fun movie. I did think Samoa was a really interesting, cool change of pace. I did like that area. It was just so different from the rest of the Fast and Furious franchise, but yeah, as far as cars go, it was pretty minimal, pretty sparse. I mean, you had some kind of cars, but nothing really noteworthy or out there. It was just pretty generic film. It was fun. It was weird, especially because Vin Diesel really didn't show up in this film. He just absolutely did not show up, so that was really weird. Yeah, overall, probably the bottom of my list, but still a fun movie. Would recommend if you're watching through the Fast and Furious franchise. You gotta watch them all like Pokemon, you know. So, anyways, I'll see you in the next one.
What are your thoughts on Kevin Hart and Ryan Reynolds?
Oh, Kevin Hart and Ryan Reynolds, yeah. Of course, they had to throw like some comedy actors in there. Dwayne The Rock Johnson with Kevin Hart. They just, at that point in time, they're inseparable. They were sucking each other's dick. Like, they were making each other money, doing lots of comedy films. I never watched any of them. Ryan Reynolds, he was kind of a goofy dwarf actor, but then the post-credit scene shows him finally stabbing a guy with a brick because he was really impressed that somebody was able to stab another guy with a brick, and he finally tried it out and he got to do it. Ryan Reynolds was pretty cool. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. See ya.
The last thing I'd like to mention is something I never caught before is how fast the last 30 minutes goes.
Okay, so we're going to mention this. Middle of the night, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's doing his haka, and yeah, we're on a 30-minute timer for this girl to extract the freaking venom from her body. And yeah, 'cause she was injected with a symbiote, so she had to get rid of the symbiote. But yeah, basically he's doing the haka, and then not even 9 minutes passes, we see the timer again. She's got to get it extracted within 30 minutes, and all of a sudden it's the middle of the day, and then another 10 minutes go by, and then it's like storming rain, just like torrential, just the island is truly providing that rain and the storms, and it is crazy. And then another 10 minutes go by, and they're already like 2 days later, like the weather is completely different again. And yeah, it was really interesting and definitely an oversight on their part, maybe intentionally, because I don't know, everything doesn't make sense in that movie. Everyone's a god, and everyone can jump off of skyscrapers and tackle people into glass, and it's just, that was a good fart too, Cody. That's gonna go in this video. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.
Your boy's off work, about to watch Fast 9.
John Cena! Is that John Cena? That is a booty if I've ever seen one. He's gonna lock up the back door, baby.
How in the hell are you not dead?
Wait, okay, I think I found us another way out. 2 miles to what looks like a bridge across the border.
The sooner we get out of here, the better.
Heavy on the right.
The device.
It is my boy, John Cena. Why does he look Mexican? Did they turn John Cena Mexican?
It's a magnet.
Is this how they go to space? They just jump off cliffs, get picked up by super planes? Is he gonna grind? He's gonna grind.
The nos.
He's gonna grind. No, he's gonna swim. Okay. How is he not dead?
It'll be a matter of time before someone can control any weapon system, traditional, nuclear, stuff we haven't even seen yet, and just point it wherever they want. Jacob reboots the world order within minutes.
Ares is the god of war, right? If Jacob gets his hands on this, he'll be the god of damn near everything.
Because of how dangerous it was, the Ares prototype was
Vin
recovered
Diesel's like,
and
"But I'm
squeezed
God."
to life on the CBD.
I can't let him be
Both of which are
God.
worthless without the activation key. Jacob now has one of
Kratos
the
ain't gonna be
pieces.
too happy
He'll be
about
going
them
after
talking
that
about
next.
taking his
The
spot.
key, it's vanished.
So we find it. If we're going to beat Jacob to it, we're going to have to split up. Roman, Tej, I know a couple of the guys.
So you need both halves in the key.
Get us anything we need.
Come on, wait, there's one more thing. Mr. Nobody's transmission had one name connected to the key. You guys are gonna want to brace yourselves for this.
Giselle and Han, baby.
No way.
I told you,
Exactly
dude.
what I said.
Where's
So you're saying Han's death is connected to all of this?
He has to have something to do with it. I'll look into it.
Not on the socket. Should make Japanese national news. For sure.
You okay?
Big deal. It's the Mexican flag guy. It's Han. He's 100% Han. Who is this guy? It's Han, dude! Wait, is that Han? That has to be Han.
150,000 feet. Time to get ready, boys.
What we're supposed to be doing?
What is Virgil doing? He's just a scientist
Been
now.
used since World War I.
Oh, I'm sorry. Astronauts arrest was closed for shopping today. Listen, these suits are just like space suits. They both account for pressure differential. Only thing is we may blow up like balloons just a little bit. That's the only difference. What? We just hit the launch altitude. You guys ready for a 5 count? No, man. I'm barely ready to go scuba diving in this old ass thing. Don't listen to him. We ready. We? Yes, I said we. I thought you was invincible. Let's see how invincible your black ass is after this. Let's go.
They're really just in space. Are you kidding me?
Okay, Dylan, we just watched the 11th film in the Fast and Furious universe, F9 The Fast Saga. What are your thoughts?
My first thought is I'm pretty tired. This is the most tired I've been after a Fast and Furious movie because it was also the longest, or one of the longest, and it's also pretty late. But that being said, I do think narratively this surpasses Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and Furious 8, and maybe even 7 for me, which is controversial because Paul Walker is such a big influence in Fast and Furious 7. That's the last movie he's in. So that is kind of a hot take. I do think narratively it's interesting to have like John Cena like get a little spray tan and like his hair colored darker so he can be a Hispanic version of Dominic Toretto's brother. That was kind of funny. First scene he pops up in, it's just his back shot, and you can tell by his booty exactly who it is. You knew it was John Cena right away. It's a very recognizable back, specifically the butt. So yeah, it was a pretty good film. They threw in so many characters from all over the place. We got Sean and freaking Virgil back. Virgil, my boy, the only guy I want to see is freaking Sean and Virgil. Those are the big kahunas of the Fast and Furious franchise for me. So we got their return, and then we got Han back, which was huge. We got all those Tokyo Drift guys, and then they finally freaking Tyrese Gibson and freaking Ludacris shot themselves way into space, and just it was a bananas movie. It was self-aware, just introspective. Tyrese kind of had a crisis where he's like, wait a minute. He's like, why don't we ever get hurt? Why don't I have a scratch? So that was kind of fun, like fourth wall breaking moment. But yeah, overall I thought it was a pretty good movie. I would put it right there with 7, maybe above 7 for me. It was a good film.
And what are your thoughts with the ending with the skyline showing up?
The skyline. Yeah, that was another nod to Paul Walker, and I was tired, so it took me like half a second to realize. I was like, oh, that's Jake. He's driving the skyline now. But no, it was a reference to Paul Walker, which is cool that they still try to include him in the films. Obviously, he can't be in the movies, but they just kind of skirt around him, kind of still existing in the universe, just not in the same way that we used to see him. And so I think that was a nice touch.
Get out of here, it's a trap.
Wait, he's a traitor?
See, that's the problem with having a big family.
protected home.
They're not dead though. They're not dead. You can't trick me.
The best quote of the whole franchise coming up, Dylan.
Take your freedom. I'm gonna take your family. And you're gonna die knowing that you couldn't save your son.
I have faith.
You made one mistake. You never took my car.
Cars above family. The submarine comes back, dude. Are they just setting this up for the 11th movie and just... I feel like this has to be the first time they're going to do a cliffhanger. Out of all the movies, this is the first cliffhanger. I'm not... Dude, what? Dude, I told you she didn't die. Jacob's not dead. Roman's not dead. Giselle never died. But why did they just stay quiet for so long? Plot armor, dude. I'm always right with these movies, dude. Got more G.I. Joes. Is this Mr. Nobody?
Howdy, partner. Do you want surprises? You've done some dastardly dirty deeds, Sheriff. You took the most important thing in my life from me. Dom drove the car. But you helped me. You pulled the trigger.
Dwayne's coming back.
And now I'm gonna make you suffer.
So Dwayne isn't gone. He wants more of that paycheck. Damn, he's old.
The devil is coming for you.
White beard.
Lying hard to find. You son of a bitch.
Okay, Dylan, we just watched the 12th and current film up to date, 2023, Fast X, the 12th film in the Fast and Furious universe. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, yes. My thoughts are these. I'm about to omit them to you. My thoughts on Fast 10, specifically. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. It was super fun. It was kind of all over the place, but narratively it was just like the whole plot line of the Fast and Furious franchise has always just been cars and then buff, ripped dudes just beating the hell out of each other, and I couldn't really tell you a whole lot about what happened in the movie, just with like the story, but basically at the end of the day, Jason Momoa, he's got beef. He's Reyes' son from Fast and Furious 5. He's got beef with Dominic Toretto, our main character, and he just wants to make him pay, and he kills off a lot of characters, apparently. And that's a spoiler alert, by the way. I won't say which characters are supposed to die. Now I will, because you've been spoiled. If you're watching this video and you don't want spoilers for Fast and Furious 10, don't watch beyond here. Basically, yeah, he kills off Roman, he kills off Jacob, our boy John Cena. He kills off, like, I'm assuming Letty and Ludacris and the one girl, Ramona Flowers?
Ramsey.
He, like, crashes their plane, it explodes off in the distance, we don't see anyone die. Classic, we didn't see Han die, he came back. We didn't see Giselle die. She came back. Oh yeah, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's back now because that guy's got to get the bag, because you know when Fast and Furious 11 comes out, that's going to be money for everybody. So yeah, they're bringing all these characters back, but and apparently a lot of characters die. I don't think any of them actually died. I think we're going to see them in 11. It's the first time they've left us off with a cliffhanger. So that's brand new. They're totally teasing us for that 11th movie, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Jason Momoa did a good job at being like a good, cheap version of Heath Ledger. He's just like a funny Joker type character that just didn't really take anything too seriously. He's just loved the chaos for the fun of it. And yeah, I thought it was an enjoyable film.